This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Did everyone get a chance to read the meeting minutes from October 23rd? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
No talking, Libby.
You're included though. Did anyone have any comments or questions?
No.
All right. Thank you.
How can you argue with that?
If you wanted to read them, they're on your dad's screen now.
No.
All right. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I approve.
All right. I'm sorry, who was the second?
Second.
All right. Does everyone approve?
Approve, yes.
All right.
Approved.
Great.
Approved.
All right, so stop the share for that. And so actually, I don't know if I updated my sheet for the agenda. Let me just get that open one moment. Yeah, so it's still in the right order. MLP and fiber. Is there any big update for that?
You want to go?
The email you sent out last week, Dan, about the text you sent out, has that been finished, Ed, or are you still in the process of that?
I'm still in the process. Right now, I'm dealing just about all my time with either server and Microsoft migration, IT issues, or special town meeting warrant.
Okay.
Okay. Anything we can do to help you, or is it just legal stuff that you have to go through?
No, it's just the formatting that I have to go through.
Okay.
But thanks for the offer. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. I don't think that's all right. So it's an RFQ, right? We're calling it.
I thought it was a municipal.
Actually, I'm doing it.
Inter agreement.
I'm actually doing it as a request for information.
Okay.
Okay.
RFI.
RFI.
All right. Thank you. I think I've been noting it incorrectly then, but I'll do it this way from now on. All right. Excuse me. Novus Insight. How's that going with the server?
Take it away, Ed. You've been doing most of it.
What Ed just said, not very good.
Well, actually, it's been.
Yeah, it's good.
The migration portion has been going fairly well. There's been the last portion of it where they migrated the files, there was a few bumps in the road, but nothing outstanding. It's it's everyone here now thinks I'm an IT expert because I've been sending the emails and doing most of the direction while Art goes to the offices when they're actually migrating stuff and what have you. So now we're having, issues with Point Software, which is our tax billing software, which they have flipping sold off, and the treasurer collector's having issues with the computers with that. Has nothing to do with Novus, but now all of a sudden I'm the expert here. So no matter what it is, they're coming to me.
All right. The tax software, I'll say the same question. Anything we can do to help?
No, not really.
Okay. So I figured I wanted to put it out there.
Thanks for offering.
Mm-hmm.
And Megan, thank you for trying to help with the water superintendent. He is all set with all those accounts and everything.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
There was just some email issues that I popped in and helped at the office, so or tried to help. So I'm glad to hear
and actually, next time you're in here at the senior center or whatever, come on over and see me, and I'll show you that setting to expand the emails from 12 months to whether you want 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or all.
Okay, great. I will do that probably next Monday.
Works for me.
All right. Does that close out Novus Insight discussion? Any questions or other comments? Okay. Where does the project stand now if the server is pretty much complete and email?
Jonathan and Colin from Novus have sent Art and I a list, and Art is much more proficient with this than I am, but we now have to come up and tell them who we want on OneDrive, who we want access to what files and what have you. So that's Art's and my next assignment. That is kind of what I'll say is the last piece of the puzzle as far as our contract for migration goes. And then I will tell you, shall we say, the little offsprings from that, which are outside that particular project, but will really close everything out, is when we got the laptops 2.5 years ago or whatever it was, with CARES money so that individuals could remote in, we Rube Goldberged a couple of them. So the treasurer collector's laptop and the assistant accountant's laptop actually go loop through their old desktops, which are Windows 7 to remote in. So those two Windows 7 desktops will be removed from that middle portion. Let's say the veteran service officer's computer is a Windows 7 computer. I have the new one sitting here in my office with the monitor to replace that. Novus will install that outside that migration contract. And there's one individual in the COA who is not hooked to the server because they added positions. So that will be done outside the contract. And then the last piece of the puzzle was when COVID came along, the health department ended up on their own server with their own email. So outside of this contract, we've already started figuring out what we need to do to put 3 pieces together and get them back on this server. And that is basically the health department's old files on our server, the health department's old emails, and then how we get the emails and files that are on that other server over. So that will actually complete this entire project in phase, shall we say, 2 of this project.
All right. Great.
Anything you want to add to that, Art?
No, no, that pretty much covers it. Thanks.
And I would not still be sane going through this project if it wasn't for the support Art's given me. So thanks, Art.
Well, thank you, Ed.
I guess I have one question for you, Art. The network assessment, anything come back from that?
Yeah, yes, no, I should say no. I did request it through Jonathan, and he was going to, I don't know, this network guy down there seems to be damn well reluctant to give us a plan, or, you know, he came in and did the inventory, the audit, and we've not received anything back. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's been months now since he did the audit, and we've received absolutely nothing. And I've asked numerous times, and like I said, just a couple weeks ago, I asked Jonathan, and he said he was going to look into it for us. Now,
Okay.
you know, this can get to be, and Ed knows this. This is not going to be potentially a trivial thing. You know, they want to put a mesh in and all this good stuff. Totally out of my realm as far as what they're going to do, but it's going to be costly, and they want to do the whole town hall. I mean, every place having access to this, which is the right thing to do, obviously, but it's not going to come cheap. So, and I'll try again. I've asked and asked and asked. I've asked probably at least 3 or 4 times now, and still have not seen this report.
Okay.
Is this something that is to such an expense that we would want to look for a grant for it? Or how did
Yeah,
that go?
yeah, the original thought process here is, and both Art and I knew it would be multi-phased and expensive, but the thought process, it was, okay, whether it's 1 phase, 2 phases, or 3 phases, we'd have the proposal, and whether it's going to capital and breaking it up and getting some money, or when grants come available, we've already got the information to move forward and put it into the grant application.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right. Those are all my questions for Novus, so I guess move on to the phone system. Auto attendant?
I've still got to get to the auto attendant. I've had a couple of issues with the phones themselves over the last couple of weeks. We actually had one of them go defective,
Oh,
which I am told by our salesperson and one of the ad hoc technology committee members that I was nuts, that that can never happen, but it has happened. So I'm going to go play the lottery. But we have ordered a new replacement for it unfortunately, it's still under warranty. So we've got that, and I've got one other issue with one phone in the treasurer collector's office. I got to open up a ticket with TPX because and this happened once before, and I can't remember whose phone it was. They must have set it up wrong, because someone can leave a message, the phone will blink, and Jen will see it blink, but when she goes to retrieve her voicemails, they're not there.
okay.
Two questions on this. One, while we're on the subject, we went through the whole effort of upgrading the network our network speed. Do people find that it's at that speed that it's effective for voice communication and the data transfer? Did that all work out?
Yeah, I've heard no issues. I've not seen any, certainly in the building department. It works quite well.
Great.
Yeah, I have not personally experienced any issues due to that, and I have not heard of anyone that has complained of any issues due to that. So that seems to have worked out well.
Awesome. That's great. And the second, related to this topic and to other topics, as we all know, Ed is retiring at the end of the year. So I'm wondering about, like, if there's any administrative passwords for phone systems or computers. Will you be handing all those off to a responsible party? I'd hope at some point. You're gonna give the keys to the castle to Chris or something?
I will hand them. Be careful as you say responsible party. I will hand them over to whoever replaces me.
That makes sense. Yeah, cool.
A good question. All right, so I think that closes out the phone system. We had a guest join in, Chris Grant. Could you just identify who you are and where your address is in Southampton? I know you've joined before.
Yeah, so I'm Chris Grant. I'm a resident of Southampton for about a year now. I'm at 25 Helen Drive.
Helen Drive?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Do you have any comments or questions?
No, I just figured I'd call in to listen. I see there's
Okay.
not much on the MLP fiber front.
Okay, right. So yeah, we're just still working on submitting the request for information. So. All right, so moving on to brainstorming and discussing other future topics. Final site mobile app and notifications was a request to be added.
Yeah, I was the one who requested to add it, so I can kind of give the background summary. So you may have all gotten the notification via text or a voicemail for Code Red about the bike trail. I noticed that Final Site offers the same type of service for the same price. I noticed that it may I mean, I think we went through a lot of effort to get Code Red up and running. So I learned that while investigating this. So it may not be worthwhile to even talk about switching to some other provider for those services. But for whatever reason, maybe it's more of a discussion in training, another round of training for people in town. Like I tried to get the app to send me the notification because I knew that the message was coming out about the bike trail, and I couldn't get it to show up. So it wasn't obvious to me what I was doing wrong. But yeah, and it initially started with, oh, I realized finals they had the same thing, and I looked up the price, and oh, they're the same. So eh, just something to observe that maybe our role is in doing another round of training on Code Red. I think is the reason what I got to from that line of thinking. For those who aren't in town who aren't enrolled already, or maybe it may be a good thing to do public service announcements for them to get signed up.
Mhm. I had tried the Code Red texting and voicemail and I didn't get anything, so I screwed up somehow. So there's that. I don't know if Final Site already provides us for it or provides it for us.
No, we get the Code Red comes from Unsolve.
Yeah,
Right.
the Final Site had another fee for it. They were both, if I looked at the price, they were both in the same ballpark. It was like four to 5K a year for that service.
Yeah, usually they base them on your population.
In our previous Final Site quotes, there was a line item for that mobile app and notifications. So I guess it's something we can monitor. I just went back and looked at the last quote we had received from them before we signed up for the website.
Mhm.
So I guess we can monitor how well Code Red works, and if we are perhaps unsatisfied, at least we know of another option.
Mhm. I didn't realize it was um in the Final Site already.
I didn't either.
I don't know where that would be, but let's see.
Oh, maybe I can find the email while we're talking, huh?
Yeah, we can take a look at it if it's already in there. All right. And so I'll just add in. Look. Maybe create another ticket, Dan. Screen.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
We'll create a ticket. Okay, so we'll look into that. Hopefully by next time we'll have a little bit extra to contribute. Final say.
So if I go to page 5 of their, actually, you want to share my screen? I can show you what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. I hope you can.
Real quick, I'll just show you the page from the email. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Oh yeah.
So optional functionality that had an app for 3,000 and messages. So I think you would need both combined together. Pretty sure we don't need the athletics manager, but you never know. Just kidding. So that's what I
I
wanted
don't
to
know,
point out.
because it looks like you get, with the base one, you get 10,000 notifications a month, and then an additional 10,000 a month would be the additional price, if you read that.
Oh, in one of these lines, they're saying you're getting 10,000 messages anyways.
Well, if you scroll back down to where the price
Up.
was,
Okay.
scroll back down to where the price was.
Yep.
If you read the price, it says 3,000 includes 10,000 notifications a month.
Okay. I don't know what the difference between notifications and messages are. Like, why would they have two different that wasn't obvious to me. So maybe that's
Well,
the
maybe
question
if you
to
need
ask.
more than, maybe if you need, yeah, but is
Oh.
each notification, is each individual a notification?
The thing is,
So if
I'm
you're
not.
sending it out to 700 residents, is that 700 notifications?
The reason I'm questioning it is the way they listed on their website. It looked like two different services. One was like their phone slash SMS or messaging system, and then this app system as well. So maybe what we get with Code Red is only $1,000 a year with Final Site versus $4,000 a year, and that may be a reason to investigate in itself. I mean, I don't want to. If you think about the grand scheme of things in the town budget, it's not a lot of money, but it still is some money.
Mhm. Thanks for finding that out. And finding the original email too.
Yeah.
Thank Outlook for making it easy to search.
Sometimes. Not my favorite. Okay, so let me get my pages back up. Share screen. All right. Does anyone have further questions or comments on that? Okay.
Dan, since you're like the Final Site interface, do you mind talking to your best friends over there?
Yeah, I'll shoot him a note. Do we know how much the OnSolve Code Red is? Like, is there a cost we can compare service to?
4,000 something. I bet Ed would know exactly.
That's annual.
I can look it up because we're about to actually renew the contract. The
Okay.
current one is, I think, 4,175, but I will look up what the new quote is and let you know.
Yeah. Is there any information about what services are provided so that we have like a comparison thing we can maybe ask Final Site about, and if they can match?
If there isn't, I'll try to put a summary together for you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, thanks.
Great.
That'll pay for our faster internet.
I would think there'd be some conversion expense or effort to move all that data from one to the other. I was part of that originally, and we put a lot of work into this. All the information and such. It was a real pain in back in those days because everybody sort of had a different text address and et cetera, et cetera. So, but something to consider.
I have two thoughts on it. One, I know that I had seen a quote for. I just was Googling, companies that had adopted. Was it Final Site or Code Red? Sorry, I don't remember. And it had like a 15K like initial sign-on fee. But my second thought on it is, if we already have all the data of the people, I'm assuming, and I assume, that it's just a porting from one to the other should be easy. So who knows?
What kind of data are we talking about? Because don't you just sign up yourself and now you're subscribed? Or
No, we received it, you know, people filled out whatever, and we did the inputs through the TA's office.
Yeah, you can sign up for a home phone, a cell phone, for
Right.
text messaging, you know, there's a number of things. And I'm about to date myself, but the first time I went through this in West Springfield was back in the early 2000s, and it was actually fairly simple. Yes, there was an upfront cost because they actually bought the list off because it was all landline telephone numbers. The list was bought off the telephone company. That's not true anymore. So I don't know where they might get a database to build it other than people signing up anymore.
And I think we'd already have the database, right? So that's one advantage. The reason I like the topic of integrating Final Site is if it has an app, then we may have a better way to communicate. Our municipality or organization may have a better way to communicate with its townspeople if there's an app. So people can, if there's important information, they can pop up notifications, things along that line. So just trying to help in the whole getting all the messages out to the people about things they need to know, like the upcoming, town meeting, things like that.
As far as the database porting goes, because it is a different company, I'm gonna say the word consent from people, submitting their data might come into play. Plus, if people have moved or whatever and just block the phone number and didn't remove themselves, and then now they get Southampton news. So that might play a role. We're not in the EU, so at least that level of, we don't need to abide by complete strict rules, but
thank God, yeah.
I know it flutters. I know it comes.
All right, so yeah, we'll create a ticket and just kind of investigate further. Library conference room upgrade. Is there any new news on that?
Yeah, we're gonna set up a date to meet there at the library in the room, and maybe with the East Hampton media if they can make it, and envision what that space could be, but how it could be best be utilized. So that is the next action.
Okay. I know I have it under brainstorm and other future topics. When does it move to the top, like as a project? Do you have to vote on that, or?
I don't know, whenever it stops being half baked.
Okay.
I think we should meet at the library and figure out what our options are before we move it up. I mean, if it ends up being a non-item, no sense moving it up the list.
Yeah. Okay. That was, just general, because I have no idea. All right, so set up a time to meet and see how it can be improved. Sign function, etc. All right. If there's nothing else, I'll move on. Senior Center, Council on Aging, Wi-Fi connection. I just wrote to be determined, see notes above about the network assessment. Is there anything else to add to that? Okay. And then solar and community solar.
I sent out an email because I had an interesting talk with he lives down the street with me, and he works for it's a company used to be called Sunbug, but then they got acquired by a larger company, so now the larger solar installations. And he just provided me some information about how municipalities can go about getting funding, and he went over how the tax incentives in a municipality is treated the same as a business, where now here's where I'm going to say the wrong tax phrase, but the money goes like directly, is like directly applied to the price of the solar somehow. It's supposed to be better than for residential. Not a tax person, not so that was interesting. And he also recommended an organization which really specializes in partnering with municipalities for this specific type of thing. So I sent an email to the team about with some suggested times we could SolSmart, SolSmart, that we could have a call with this guy.
I was a little confused, Dan, not the first time in my life. As far as now, Soul Smart has taken over Sunbug or?
No. SolSmart isn't related to the Sunbug at all. So
Okay.
Sunbug just sent me an email. I think I forwarded it along to everybody as saying, it was, the guy's name is Dan Burton. He basically said, the summary of the conversation we had together about saying there was this guide put out by Department of Energy about how local governments can implement solar and do deployments. He also said there's a ton of information here. Per the guide, the organization SolSmart would be good for Southampton Group to engage with in terms of coming up with a comprehensive plan.
Excuse me, the guide was quite good. I haven't had a chance to go fully through it, but it looked very comprehensive, and so I understand now how you got to SolSmart. Thank you.
Yep, and then the thing so I got the email up. So it's the 30% tax credit is a direct pay. So that's a lot easier. It's a 30% direct pay tax credit. So, so he just gave a bunch of ideas. Also, Chris forwarded along. I guess a couple years back, the town had looked into similar things, and there was a study and ideas on how it could be implemented. So Chris Falls forwarded that along as well. So, but we're really just I'd say we're just in the kind of research data gathering mode of what possibilities there are. The other thought I had on it was just participating in the select board meeting. The water department mentioned that they have their pumps use around $40,000 of electricity. And to me, that's kind of, if you had to target one use in town of energy to try to reduce the cost, that seems like it would be easier, because talking to the guy from Sunbug, they say when all the power use is just behind 1 meter or at one site, then it's easier to coordinate. So it's just an idea of where if we want to talk about which project may be low hanging fruit or the first one to go after, maybe that would be it. But that's still years off in conversation.
I saw their agenda just a couple hours ago from the water commissioners, and I did see something. I guess it's from the new superintendent about solar. So they are discussing it.
Yep. He brought that up, and I mentioned how the ad hoc technology committee wanted to be involved in the conversation because we're interested in helping. So maybe there's some synergy there.
That's good.
All right. So as far as the times go, could you remind when that was? Remind us. If they could talk to us on the next meeting, that would probably be best. But I know that wasn't one of the options.
That would be perfect. Yeah.
I can meet on this Thursday or Monday at 6 next week. I can also meet during the day on Friday. I guess I could respond back and ask him if he could be on a Monday that we would normally meet. Is our next what holidays do we have coming up? So in which
Thanksgiving.
yeah, but does it fall in? I mean, do any of the
It's-
holidays? It's Thursday.
The next meeting is the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 27th.
Okay, so I can ask him about the 27th if you guys
Yeah.
want.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Does anyone have any comments or questions on solar community solar? Okay. So the next meeting will be November 27th at 6 p.m. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh wait.
Never mind.
I had one more topic or idea for discussion. Don't we? Do we have
Oh,
a
I'm
section?
so sorry.
No, it's okay. Do we have a section of new topics? Because I should have brought it up.
I mean, brainstorm and discuss other future. I didn't add anything else.
The other one I'm thinking about is, so my work abandoned using Zoom, and now all we use is Microsoft Teams for meetings. And I'm wondering if the town, with our Microsoft 365 licenses, gets access to Microsoft Teams, which could host these type of meetings. Because I'd imagine we're paying for Zoom as a town, right? So maybe there's another. Again, it's small. It's not a lot of money, but it could save us town a little bit. So if we're already paying, if we get Microsoft Teams meetings as part of our Microsoft licensing, then we could use it.
Ed or Art probably would be the best to answer that. Maybe Ed.
Yes. As part of our Microsoft 365, we do have access to Teams. I don't know if that goes outside our, shall we say, 365 internal licensing, however.
I actually, so external people logging into the meeting, would that work? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's a good
think,
question.
Yeah, and let me contact, send an email to Jonathan and see what he says.
What is the price difference? Or is that too hard to tell with the licensing?
Well, if we have, which we do, the access to Microsoft Teams and can use it like we do Zoom for anybody to sign in, we've already paid for the licensing versus we're also buying Zoom at $149. No, I think it's actually $159 something with the tax per account.
Yeah, but my question is, not everybody has a Microsoft account, so those without an account would not be able to log into these meetings. Is that allowable?
Well, that's what we got to find out.
We need to find that out. Yeah. Okay.
I promise that's all I have.
This is maybe a dumb tech question. Can I download Teams on my Mac? Because I don't use Microsoft personally.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think you have to have a Microsoft account to use it. That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you get the app, I think you still need to have an account to log in as. Even if you create a username, I think you can do that. I just don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's free, but yeah, if it requires even a free account, that would be a real pain for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a Mac version. It's got to be. But yeah, good question.
Well, you can install Office on a Mac. I have it on my Mac. It's just, I just don't know how Teams works.
All right. Well, we'll confirm it and then talk about it next meeting. So back to adjourning, I guess. So Art made the first motion. I think Dan was the second, Dan Breen.
Sure.
Everyone kind of said yes at the same time. So I heard you first. Does anyone not approve? Okay. We're all in favor. All right, so 6:43.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.